What's up? Today I wanted to talk about why you do what you do and how to change that, or at least how to set yourself up in a way that it can be good for you as opposed to negative. So I constantly think about this. I realize a lot of people don't think about this, I guess. But regardless, I think about this often and I think it's been helpful to me and I wanted to pass that along. So I'm always thinking about why I do what I do. Why do I do this? Why do I do that? Why do I do things a certain way? You constantly have to be reevaluating them because some things you may have observed in your life, you may have taken from your parents, you may have taken from whoever, significant others, and you may have taken on habits. But regardless, they always come from somewhere and they're always kind of facilitating a need. And most of the time, they've been established unconsciously. And when things are established unconsciously, they're not, they're maybe not the best for you. So I say that to say, when you create a habit with intention, you have an intention of an outcome that you want with that habit. So perfect example, your eating habits, right? Your fitness habits or lack thereof. Typically, if you're not being specific on what you eat and how you eat and when you eat, you're kind of following society's outline. You're kind of following maybe your family's outline. Somewhere it was like given to you subconsciously, and you just kind of took that on and considered that the norm and continued to do that. And so maybe you don't have the best results, right? Um, in my case, right, I had a good foundation of eating. I was always skinny, but there was no intention behind it. And I say that because you have to have an intention behind it. As soon as I started having intention of, hey, I want to get bigger, I need to eat this amount to support my fitness goals, I started to see changes in my body. So I wanted to talk about that because intention's really everything. So here's a perfect example. When I moved to San Diego, I moved to like National City, which is not San Diego. It's south of San Diego and it's the hood. It's what I could afford at the time, and it was what it was. I ended up getting a job up north, and it was a long commute. A long commute in California isn't even that long because traffic is so bad. But anyways, on the best of days, it took me an hour to get home, like minimum. That was like a good day. If I left at 5 and got home at 6, I was happy. And during that time, I was working out at the community center right by my house. That was why was it? Oh yeah, because I didn't have gym access at work. Long story. Um, Not really, because I was a contractor. But anyway, so I'd rush home to get to the gym because the gym closed at 7. So I'd have to get home, change, immediately bounce out the door, and go hit the gym for 45 minutes to an hour. So get out of work at 5, drive home, get home at 6, bounce right out to the gym, which is like walking distance from my house, and go work out for an hour. And so that was the regiment that I was in because of my current life situation. So it was always like, as soon as that clock hits 5 o'clock, if I could get out there sooner, I'd do it immediately. But years later, I realized I was still bouncing out the door at 5 o'clock. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get in my car and go. And I had already moved to a closer to work, and my commute wasn't that long, and it wasn't as critical because I had gym access at work and I had been working out in my lunch breaks. So my whole schedule had changed, but I still had that habit, right? I still had that habit of needing to bounce out at 5 o'clock exactly because of something in the past. So I even thought of that. I was like, why do I leave so freaking quick? Why do I feel like I need to get out of here? And I realized it was because of that old habit that I built. And I say that to say it's like I did that for like probably a couple of years before I realized like why am I doing this? So you constantly have to be reevaluating why you're doing what you're doing, and a lot of times we build these habits based off of life situations. So whether that's lack of money, lack of time, usually it's from a scarcity kind of places where we build these habits, and they get really, really deeply ingrained because you keep doing them over and over and over again. And for example, you might do most people who don't have any money, or don't have any extra money, do a lot of things to save money, right? Why do you do your own laundry? Why do you clean your house? Why do you mow your lawn? Usually it's to save a buck. It's usually I don't have the money to pay someone else to do it. Why do you fix your own car, right? And I do all of these things. Well, I don't cut my grass anymore I don't cut my grass, period. I never did. I never had grass. But the point is you have to outsource some of this. But the mindset comes from a scarcity place. It comes from a poverty place, right? Even then, rushing out of the door at 5 p.m. was a scarcity thing because I didn't have much time. I had to go, go, go. Whereas now I have time to take my time, right? Or even a workout habit that I built, right? I never stretched. I never warmed up because I was scarce on time. Then it became, right, I was working out on my lunch break. It was like, I got to get this whole workout done in 45 minutes. Minimal rest between sets, no stretching, no warming up, no nothing. Just get straight to it. Just bang and clang for 45 minutes and, shower and get back to work. So my life has changed. I'm able to take a little bit more time. But regardless, those habits are built, right? So you constantly have to reevaluate them because we're always operating in this scarcity kind of place. So at some point, you have to create your habits with intention, with a future vision, and without a scarcity mindset. And something I've been adopting lately is like spending my money, right? It used to be, hey, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough this or that. I don't know when I'm ever going to get any money. But you know what? I've realized now in my 32 years of living, I've been living as an adult since I was like 23. So pretty much 10 years, right? Money's always came. It's always worked out. Yeah, I've had ebbs and flows. There's been like moments of scarcity, moments where I've spent a whole bunch of money. There's been moments where I've had the most money I've ever had in my life. But it's always worked out. And so I have a decent amount of faith in myself that more money will come, right? So I say that to say you have to create with intention. You have to create these habits with intention to look down the road and see what's going to happen if I keep doing this or if I keep doing that. What does this expound to? What is this? What does it compound to? What does, what does it compound to? What is this habit compounding to, right? Because if I come home, click on the TV, throw in the oven pizza, and sit on my ass for the next 5 hours, that's not going to kill me. That's not going to make me fat. It's not going to whatever. But if I do that 5 nights a week, if I do that 6, 7 nights a week, what's that going to compound to? What's that going to do at the end of the day? And a lot of times people will have habits like that they didn't create with any intention. So you get a result that maybe you didn't want. Versus, I come home, I cook a healthy dinner, I don't watch TV, I go walk after dinner and I get a mile or two in. What is that going to look like down the road? And the same thing can go with all your habits, your money habits. Well, what if I say fuck it and get Uber Eats, 5 times a week? That might not even be, you might not be thinking of that consciously as a financial decision, but it is a financial decision and it's going to affect you down the road. So finances are great, and I love thinking about it because a lot of times you can set it and forget it. You have a lot of automatic payments and stuff. And once you set up your financial situation, then it compounds. So for me, I had set up a very good financial situation to where I had extra money. I had money automatically saving, automatically investing. I forgot about my whole system. One day I go and open my bank accounts, my trading accounts, and I'm like, wow, I'm up tremendously because that habit compounded. Now I see that in the opposite realm, right, where it's like every month someone's scraping to get by and they don't know how they're going to make their rent payment. They don't know how they're going to make this payment. They're borrowing on this credit card, that credit card. All that ends up compounding and then turns into debt. it turns into a negative outcome. Same thing, right? Your eating habits. Oh, you're eating pizza, you're eating chicken wings, you're eating whatever every night. It's going to turn into a bunch of fat on your body. It's going to turn into, you not feeling so good at when you go up the stairs. It's going to turn into you not feeling so good when you look in the mirror. So you have to always set those habits with intentions and have a reason for doing what you do. Anyone I see who's in a really good position in life, myself included, had some intention and thought behind their actions. And almost all their actions have intention and thought behind them. It's like, okay, if I do this, what am I going to do? It's usually not a short-term pleasure. That's usually not the intention that's set. The intention that's set is longer term. And it's more it's just more direct. It's set with intention. So, and then you can see down the road, you can come and visit that person 10 years down the road and say, oh, I see why you are where you are. That makes sense. And that's how I'm starting to feel, right? In my early 20s, when I was in shape and everything, people just kind of chalked it up to being young, fit, black, whatever, like some gift from God, right? But now, like, as I get older, and it still happens because I still look pretty young, like, as I get older, I'm in my 30s. Most people who are in shape in their 30s, it's not by accident. It's because they established very good habits in their 20s or throughout their life to put them where they're at. The 30s is what I've noticed in life, in my current life, is where you start to see the results of what people were doing in their 20s, whether they were partying, whether they were working out, whether they were building a business, whatever they were doing. Now you're starting to see the fruits of that labor or lack thereof. And it's starting to show. People are starting to get exposed. You can pretend like you worked out. You can pretend like you were about it, but your body's always going to tell the truth. Your bank account is always going to tell the truth. Numbers don't lie, right? So always set an intention with what you do. Always have a reason for what you're doing, and always be looking at the long-term view. Because if you're not, you're just kind of spinning your wheels. And we don't have all the time in the world. We don't have all the time to, just fuck around. We don't have time for that. If you actually want to accomplish something in your life, you actually want to get something done, you're going to have to create habits that are conducive to that outcome. There's no way around it. There's no thing you can just pick. You can't just look. The final action is a result of so many actions that it's stupid, right? Like, another example, it's always fitness, right? Like, my coworker was joking, like, oh, you can curl the 50s? And I'm like, yeah, I can curl the 50s. And I can't just decide one day to just walk up and just curl the 50s, right? It's because I've done so many damn reps of work. Same thing, you go to buy a car, like, I bought my M3 for myself for my 30th birthday. I bought it cash, 25 grand, most money I've ever spent on anything at the time. And I was able to do that because of so many small actions and decisions I had made in the past. It was not anything else, right? So you can't just decide one day. I just can't just snap my fingers, make 25 grand appear, and go purchase that car, right? I have to have had the habits, and that's what people don't understand. They see your end result, and they think they can just do that. They can snap their fingers. That's why I hear that all the time in the gym. People look like total shit, and they'll joke with me and be like, oh, 3 months, I'm going to look just like you. No, you're not, because it took 10 years, because it took a hell of a lot of work, more work than that person is willing to put in. Just by saying that, I can understand their mindset, that they don't understand how long this takes, how much effort it takes, and how much mental effort you have to take to get there to be able to take the proper amount of action, right? I have a thing on my wall. What is it? How much work is required to ensure that you will not fail? That was something that I had to learn in my life with fitness, right? Because I had done it. I tried 3-4 times to get in shape, and every time I failed. Really, I was learning at the point, but I had failed, and the time I succeeded was the time I put in more work, the amount of work that seemed excessive that ensured that I couldn't fail. You're going to tell me if I work out twice a day, hit my meals perfect, drink a gallon of water, that I'm not going to be in shape? There's no way. There's no way I can fail. Even if my hormones are fucked, even if my, if everything is just not working, if I do all of that, I'm going to get the result. I will not fail. So same thing, right? I'm learning this with everything in life. You have to put an amount of effort that will ensure you won't fail. Otherwise, you will. Or otherwise, it's up to chance, right? So you have to bust your ass. And unfortunately, it's a lot more work than people think it is. It's always going to be more work than you think it's going to be. It's always going to cost more. It's always going to take more effort. It's always going to take more time than you ever thought possible. Because right now you don't have the thing. You want the thing. You don't know what's on the other side of it. Since you don't have it, just by the fact that you don't have it, you don't understand what's required. If you did understand what was required, you would have it already. But you don't. So you have to understand. And that's the true meaning of understanding, right? Knowledge without action is just, it's not knowledge. Or I like to say, like, a lot of people have knowledge, but most people don't have wisdom. Wisdom is a result of actually having lived it, right? There's people I know who don't look good, who can tell me the perfect workout regimen, the perfect diet, and perfect all this. They have knowledge, right? Me, where I'm at now, having done this and kept and had the results, I have wisdom. And those are two very different things.